Claudia Courtney. I'm a homeschooling mom and business owner at As We Walk Along the Road, and I am super excited to be sharing a great new resource that I've been reviewing with you today. So if you've been around As We Walk Along the Road for any length of time, you'll know that I love using all things literature in our homeschool. I have used literature-based homeschooling for the majority of our homeschooling years. I started out as a more structured homeschooler and quickly realized that that was not going to work for us. So literature-based homeschooling has been really important to us, and I have been very relaxed. We've used lots of unit studies and not nearly as much structure. But the resource I'm going to share with you today is much more of a structured, traditional learning tool. And so you might be asking yourself why this is a resource that I really like and would recommend. And my answer is this. There's two main reasons. First of all, when my husband and I very first decided that we were going to homeschool, he wanted it to be done in such a way that if the kids ever had to go back to school for any reason, they wouldn't be really far behind or out of sync with what their age group was learning in school. The other reason is that even though I'm not a structured, traditional workbook homeschooler, I realize that my kids have to take standardized tests at times. Now, in our family, we weren't required to do that by our state. And so my oldest two took a standardized test when they were in first grade. They took the yearly standardized test with a local private school. And then they didn't take any more standardized tests like that for their regular school years. And my younger kids didn't take any. But they all did take the SAT or ACT multiple times when they got ready to start thinking about plans for college. So all of them were eventually going to take standardized tests. And I know in some areas you're required to give your homeschooled students standardized tests every year. So because of those two reasons, even though the bulk of our homeschooling was relaxed and literature-based, I always liked to have a tool that would help me be able to supplement with some more traditional structured learning so that my kids were kind of in sync with what they would be doing if they were in school in that particular grade level. And so the resource that I'm going to show you today is an excellent way for you to do that. If you are also a relaxed, literature-based, unit study loving, maybe even unschooling homeschool family, this resource is a great way for you to supplement your learning if you need to prepare your kids for standardized tests, or if you want to make sure that your kids would be in sync if they had to go back to a traditional school. The resource that I'm going to share with you today is Education Perfect. And this is homeschool software that has over 40,000 different classes, curriculum supplements for ages 9 to 18. There are lessons in language arts, there are lessons in math, science, a number of languages, and this is a self-paced resource. You can assign different lessons for your kids to complete. You will get a report telling how well they did, telling what material they've completed. They can play games to practice their skills. They can even compete with other homeschoolers all around the world. So Education Perfect is an excellent way to supplement if you're a relaxed homeschooler or even an unschooler. And I want to show you what Education Perfect looks like. So I'm going to take you along on a little tour of how this awesome program works. This is the screen that you'll see when you first open up Education Perfect. You can see an overview of your classes, of any competitions going on, and of any updates to the program. You can also see the tabs across the top that will allow you to access content, see your scheduled tasks, see your scheduled assessments, as well as a report of how students did on them. You can see the competitions that are going on. You can see your classes, and you can see insights about your classes. So classes is where you're going to set up your students. Now, Education Perfect used to be a tool that was used primarily by traditional schools. And so a school could set up their class and add all of the students in that class. Education Perfect has been capitalizing on what they can do for homeschoolers. And so now the program is very useful for homeschool students as well. And you can see my class, EP for home, and I can add students there, as many as I have in my homeschool. Education Perfect has pricing that is a subscription fee per month for up to 5 students in your homeschool. And it's very affordable. They have made this a great product for homeschoolers to use supplementary. So you can set up your students here, you can add teachers, and now you're going to want to assign content to your students. So you can do this through the Tasks and Assessments tab, or you can browse content and see what you want to assign to your student. I'm going to go through the Browse Content tab because I want you to see how much awesome content Education Perfect has. There are over 40,000 lessons available, and you can see there are a variety of languages, digital technologies, geography, history, math, sciences. There's so much here available. The content is aimed at ages 9 to 18, so most of these things are starting with grade 5, 6 for the content. So I'm going to look at English literature and grade 5, 6. Now, the content in Education Perfect is aligned to the national standards of many different countries as well as the states in Australia. So you can use this content knowing that this is going to help your kids to be on grade level and be in sync with what other students their age would be learning in a traditional school. So I'm going to look at the punctuation category, and here are the lessons in the punctuation category. Now, you can see the lesson over here on the far right, and you can look at the outline of it. You can just assign it directly with this purple assign button, or you can click preview and you'll be able to see the lesson in the way that the student will see it when it is assigned. One of the things that I really love about the lessons in Education Perfect is this outline that's over here on the left. Even though this is the teacher view to assign this, the students also get this outline in their view. This is a great feature for some students, especially my student with ADHD, because it's hard for her to watch a visual lesson or a video-based lesson if she doesn't know how long the lesson is going to be. It's so much easier for her to lose focus. But if she can see an outline like this that tells her exactly where this lesson is going to go, it helps to guide her and helps her to pay attention more. You'll also see that this visual lesson is helped by the fact that there are words that are bolded in different colors. There's a nice little flashing GIF at the bottom. So even though this is a slide that students are going to read, they also have these features that are going to help to draw their attention. In the student view, students can also have the slide read aloud to them, and they can access a scratch pad where they can draw or take notes. So these lessons truly are multi-sensory, which will help if you have students who learn a little bit differently. Now, you can go through the slides and see exactly what your student is going to see as they go through this lesson. One of the things that I also really like about the lessons in Education Perfect is the immediate feedback that students are going to get when there are interactive questions. And there are different ways that questions are asked. So, for example, in this question, they're supposed to be matching the words with the contraction. This isn't just a multiple choice where they're going to click an answer and be told if it's right or wrong. So I'm going to draw like they would in answering, matching these contractions. And you will see, even though I'm drawing very messy lines, you'll see that there's still a way to get immediate feedback once they have answered these. They can click check answer, and they will be able to see an answering drawing. So they'll know right away if they got these answers right, even though there's not just a multiple choice question. There are some multiple choice questions throughout here. There are also passages where the students are editing, adding apostrophes. They can have the passage read aloud, they can read it themselves, they can edit it, and then they can check answer, and they'll be able to know right away if they added the apostrophes correctly. There's also a free writing question. They're reading a passage and writing 2 sentences where they're supposed to use 2 contractions. So there are different ways that they are practicing what they're learning. And I like this variety that Education Perfect has in the lesson. When they've completed this lesson, the last slides will show them a conclusion that kind of recaps what they learned. And I really like this summary because I think it's a good way to have them remember what the lesson was about. Now, once you know what the lesson is, you can click the Assign button, and you can assign it either as a task or as a quiz or assessment. So you might want your student to do this as part of the tasks that you're having them practice, or you might want them to do it as a quiz or assessment to be able to gauge their comprehension of this topic. So you can assign, let's assign it as a task. We would choose a class or a student to assign it to, and it's going to show us that this is probably something that's going to take about 22 minutes for them to complete. You can choose a date that you want it to be scheduled for, and then you're going to assign the task. Once you have tasks assigned, you'll see them here in the Tasks tab. And you can email your students a reminder. You can access the task through this link. You can share it through Google Classroom. So this is how Education Perfect is going to work. And it's going to be a great way for you to supplement your homeschooling, especially if you are a relaxed homeschooler or a homeschooler like me who loves literature-based unit studies that might not be moving in sync with what students would be learning in a traditional school. This is going to be a great way to supplement that, to keep students on grade level, to prepare them for standardized tests, and just a great way to kind of give them a well-rounded, um, grade appropriate focus in learning. If you want to know even more about Education Perfect, you can schedule a free 15-minute platform demonstration that will take you through the whole platform and show you exactly how you can use it in your homeschool. And if you know that you want to subscribe, you can use the code SAVE20 to get 20% off of the program through the month of October 2022. So the link to schedule a free 15-minute overview and the link to sign up for Education Perfect will be in the description of this video. You can also visit my blog link that is in the description and learn even more about Education Perfect in my review post. So I hope that you have enjoyed this tour of Education Perfect, and I hope that you have seen how this can be a great supplementary resource for your homeschooled students as well. If you have any questions about my review or the platform, you can leave those here in the comment section and I will be glad to answer those. Thank you for watching this resource review.